Now I know what some viewers might be thinking.
Random bitch on the internet. Why are you trying to convince us that your art is a complete dumpster fire even though it clearly isn't?
And to that I say, it's because it sounded funnier than what we're actually discussing in this video, which is 5 things not to do if you want to improve your art. Did you get clickbaited? No, because unfortunately I do all these things too. And yes, viewer, I know how stupid that sounds. Thank you for your observation. Anyway, on to the list. Number 1, not warming up before you pull the patch. You would stretch before you run. You would do vocal warm-ups before you sing, so why wouldn't you warm up before you draw? Your hand's a muscle, and it needs stimulation before it can start producing results that you need. This is an easy step to ignore, mostly due to laziness, but there are ways warming up can be fun. If it's something you don't do often due to the fact that it's a bit tedious, draw something you've never drawn before. Do some crappy little fan art, or some thumbnail sketches for your upcoming illustration. Generally, warm-ups help transition your muscle memory and help get the creative juices flowing. Number 2, blatantly taking shortcuts when they're unnecessary. So sometimes as artists, we take shortcuts to make the process of our illustrations go quicker. If we don't do this, something like this might take Obviously, shortcuts are necessary, but heed my warning. Sometimes, you just gotta draw the fucking hand. I know you want to put it behind the back. I know you want to crop the picture so that no one sees the abomination you thought feet might look like. I get it. Art's hard. And sometimes you want to ease the load. But is it really gonna kill you to draw the eye again? I'm just saying you don't want your illustration of Jimmy Neutron to look like Donkey Kong. So sometimes, don't take the shortcut. This has happened to me one too many times. Number 3, not practicing specifics. Like ever. Head, shoulders, knees, toes, eyes, ears, mouth, and nose. Trees, rocks, leaves, and chickens. When's the last time you practiced any of these things individually? The answer is never. As young artists, we are often told by more experienced artists, whenever we ask the dreaded question, how do we improve? Their common response is usually just practice. Unfortunately, this response is unfucking helpful, because what we're left to think is, what do we practice? And by that point in the conversation, you are left to twiddle your thumbs and try to decode what that person meant. Well, I'm here to tell you what they meant, or at least give you some tips. Look at your weaknesses overall and put them in separate categories. Practice those whenever, in your free time, preferably in a sketchbook or on a page that only contains that one thing. I know school has sucked the creativity out of your body like an Edmonton sex worker and has left you feeling like studying and practicing are not fun and can never be fun. But in art, practicing and studying from reference is super important, and when you study specific items and concepts, it can really help you diversify the way you approach illustration. Number 4, when you're in the mood to draw outside your comfort zone, and you decide to go against that because you're a scared little bitch. The male anatomy. My weakness and probably yours. But sometimes you got that urge to draw some hot anime boys. So you sit down at your desk, you stare at your page or your drawing tablet, and then you end up drawing the same big titty waifu that you always draw. Now, you had the motivation, but why didn't you do it? Now, folks, we call this box bitch-itis, aka actively not stepping out of your comfort zone. Some good tips that might help? Instead of using that motivation to draw a full illustration, maybe just use it as a warm-up sketch. It gets you outside the box without completely shattering it. Or use what I like to call the flip-flop method, which I learned from drawing with waffles. Draw something that's very unfamiliar to you, but in the same illustration, draw something that's also in your wheelhouse. This evens out how much learning you have to do with how much fun you're having. With these tips, you can expand your visual library and still draw your 934th big-tittied goth GF. And finally, number 5. Using references like you just learned what the phrase reference picture means. We've all seen those beautiful pictures on Instagram where it's just a drawing of a white Pinterest model. And though those art pieces are great, and we obviously don't know what those artists do in their free time, but we can assume that they draw from reference. Now, learning how to use reference is a skill that can make or break your illustration. You know, drawing the same Pinterest model for the 943rd time is cool, but you know what's even cooler? Maybe referencing an outfit from a different model. Hey, greasy bitch, how do you use reference pictures? Well, I'm glad you asked, person behind me. Basically, you steal. But steal multiple things. So maybe you like that hairstyle. Maybe you've been watching My Hero Academia and you really like Deku's outfit. But what if in pink? Basically, art is just a compilation of different reference pictures, collage them together, and add your own sprinkle of creativity, and boom! Now you got a beautiful illustration. Or a cursed image, depends on your mood that day. Overall, you don't need to take my advice, cause who am I, some robust weeb on the internet? But if you do take my advice, just remember, warm up, no unnecessary shortcuts, practice your weaknesses, don't stay in your comfort zone, and try to use reference in a more diverse way. And there you have it. Now obviously if you do all these techniques, there's no guarantee that your art will improve, but try to make a habit of these things. Being consistent will most likely help you see the results that you want in your art. Anyhow, please say hello to the outro dumpster for me. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. And if you want to see me and my art, you can follow me on Instagram at @thesparklingdumpster. Goodbye!